So one of the many benefits of working from home is that I can have kitty cuddles whenever I want. It's a nice perk and I wouldn't change it for the world. I love working at home. I love being in my own office and my own space, but it can be challenging, especially if you are only just starting to work at home or if you've got family around and cats around and he's about to escape. So let's let him go. You gonna go? Oh, not that way, that way. Oh. And disaster strikes. As I was saying. So I've been working at home now for over a decade, and during that time I have developed a lot of strategies and techniques to make sure that I can focus when I need to focus and switch off when I need to switch off, which can be a bit of a challenge for a lot of people. So today I want to share a bunch of tips that will help you to work from home more efficiently, more effectively, and make sure you can maintain that separation between work and the rest of your life. Number one is to have set work days and hours. Now this seems obvious, but for a lot of people who start working from home, their work just bleeds into their entire lives, their entire days, and they start from the moment they wake up and open their eyes to the moment they go to sleep at night. They have some sort of work thing happening. They're checking emails, they're checking social media. Now there's nothing wrong with, checking in on social media occasionally, but honestly, it is really healthy to have some boundaries and set some boundaries for yourself around when you're working and when you're not. This not only is healthy mentally, so if you live at home alone and you don't have other people around you to distract you from your work or to socialize with at home, it's still important to have some time to yourself to do other things other than work, whether that's exercise, resting, reading a book, creating in some way not related to your work, whatever it might be for you. Having some downtime and some ability to switch off is really important to being able to do this for the long term so you don't get burnt out. And of course, if you do have a family and you do share your home with other people that you want to spend time with, it's important to spend time with them without constantly being distracted by your phone. You want to give them your full attention and value those relationships. So setting those work hours and work times is fantastic. You can do whatever you want here, but I will say that it's important to consider the important people in your life when you're making these decisions. For example, do you have a spouse who works 9 to 5 or do they work strange hours? It makes more sense to plan your work hours around their work hours so that you are not working when they're free and vice versa. This is obviously one of the perks of being self-employed, is that you can make your own hours and make them work for your circumstances. It also means that you can craft a nice system, a nice habit for yourself every day. When you get up, you get dressed and ready for your day and then sit down to work. I do not work in my pajamas. I have a morning routine. I have my tea in bed. I read for a bit. I get up, I have a shower, I get dressed into normal clothes. Yes, they might be very comfortable and pajama-like clothes, but they are not my pajamas. They are my work clothes. And then I get to work. And then I have, again, an end of day routine. When I finish up work, I do a workout, I go for a walk, I have dinner, and then the rest of my evening is mine to spend as I see fit, usually spending time with my husband, Nick, watching TV, reading a book, and just relaxing and enjoying some quiet time. Equally important is to have dedicated days off. Don't be working 7 days a week for the rest of your life. I don't think that is a healthy way to live. And again, it means that you don't have the time and space to pursue other interests and to spend time with your loved ones. I've experimented with having all sorts of days on and off over the years. I've taken midweek days off, but generally speaking these days we work a 4-day work week, Monday to Thursday. Friday, Saturday and Sunday are our days off. Friday's a bit of a flex day, so if things are crazy and we need a little bit more work time, we will sometimes work on a Friday, but we take weekends off, frankly, because all of our friends with normal jobs have the weekends off. So if we want to see them, that's when we have to see them. So it just makes sense for us to take the weekends off like people do. Although having the Friday off is actually really beneficial too, because we can go do all those things on a Friday that people having a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday job are at work. And so it's a little bit more quiet to go do things out in the world as well. The second thing is to have a dedicated workspace. It can be a real time waster and a distraction to be working wherever you can in your home. Now, I know this is not necessarily available to all people. So what I would say is if you can't have a dedicated workspace, have a bit of a ritual or a routine when you start work. So if you're working at the kitchen table, set up your stuff and, make it a habit. And make it so that when I put these things out, it's work time. When I put them away, it's not work time anymore. And you can make that connection in your brain so that when you do get those things out, it helps you to more easily drop into that place of focus. Obviously, being able to have a dedicated space is great because you can have all your tools and materials out and in front of you and where you want them to be. So I would advocate to work towards having a dedicated workspace. If this is going to be your full-time thing that you are doing, especially, then that will make your life a lot easier because you won't waste a lot of time pulling things out, setting things up and putting them away again at the end of the day. It also helps you to get in the right mind space. When I walk into my office, when I walk into my studio, I know I'm there to work. I'm not there to read my novel, goof off, or watch random YouTube videos. Let's be honest, occasionally the random YouTube video thing happens, but most of the time I am there to work and focus, and that is why having that dedicated workspace that I can also walk away from at the end of the day is very helpful. The third thing is to have a morning routine. Now, I touched on this a little bit earlier, and I have a video showcasing my morning routine. I'll put a link to that up here. Basically, just so that you're not going straight into work and forgetting everything else that's important to you. This is something I developed over time. It's always evolving, it's always developing. But basically, what it looks like for me is having some quiet time, some time to read, then I get ready for work, and then I sit down and work. And whatever this looks like to you, maybe you want to meditate, maybe you want to journal, maybe you want to go for a walk, whatever works for you, but have some sort of routine to do some self-care first thing in the morning, and make sure you're in the right frame of mind to be able to sit down and focus and get your work done. Number 4 is to have set work times for certain types of tasks. This may look like on Tuesdays, I do X jobs. On Thursday afternoons, I do this job. For me, this is really helpful. I have a system and a routine every single week. On certain days, I have to do certain types of work, maybe whether it's recording, editing a video, sending it an email, scheduling up some social media, whether it's going down in the jewelry studio and getting my orders done. I do those things at certain times of the week. Of course, sometimes you have to switch this up and be flexible, and that's great. That's one of the benefits, again, of being self-employed and working from home, is that you can be a little bit flexible. But it's also helpful to kind of know what's coming and what you have to get done in the week ahead, and sort of have some space carved out for those important things so that they don't get left by the wayside. Number 5 is don't set more than 3 jobs per day. Now, the way I see this is I have like a core job for the day, the thing that must be done. And then I have 2 sort of supplementary jobs that I will get to after that thing has been done. And of course, you can chuck a few other little random bits and pieces of work on your to-do list, but those things are additional, maybe nice to do, but not urgent, not really important. But I don't like to put more than 3 important tasks or jobs in a day, because things will always take longer than you think they're going to take. And you want to ensure that you have enough space in your schedule to get those important jobs done. Number 6 is to plan your week ahead of time rather than just reacting to what's coming up ahead. I always have a schedule. I sit down either on a Thursday night or a Sunday night or a Monday morning, kind of, that's not set in stone. It's sort of what's happening in my week determines when I do that. But always before I start, the first thing I do is make sure I have a plan for the week ahead. I have all of my important deadlines or appointments in my calendar. I know what's coming up, and then I plan the rest of my week and the jobs I have to do around those things. I also have some rules, things like I don't have appointments on Mondays, because Mondays is the day where I like to make sure I'm on top of things. I know what's happening. I do some really core important work on a Monday, and I don't want to be, distracted or taken out of that mind space on a Monday, because it's kind of the foundation of my week. So I protect that foundation so that the rest of my business can be built on top of it. Another thing I always make sure to do there is I leave white space in my calendar. This is space where I haven't planned anything in particular. Generally, this will be like the second half of Thursday or even all day of Thursday. I try to plan all of the things I must get done in the first 3 days of the week because we have a 4-day week. And then Thursday is my overflow day. It's the day when I'm like, I forgot this thing, or this email has come in that I need to deal with, or this opportunity has come up that I want to investigate. Thursday is when I have the space and time in my schedule to do those things that otherwise I just would not get done because I wouldn't have time for them. And the seventh and final thing is make sure to get out of the house regularly. You know, when you're working from home, it can be very easy to literally never step foot outside of your door. And I think it's really important to get out there, not only for your physical health, but your mental health. You know, get outside, go for a walk in nature, socialize with your friends in person, and experience life outside of the four walls that you live inside of. I think it also helps your business grow because you feel more inspired, you feel more energized, you're getting that inspiration from being out there in the world, seeing other human beings. And I make a habit of trying to go for a walk almost every single day just to get out and realize there's life outside of my home. I mean, what's the point in being self-employed if you don't take advantage of the fact that you can just work when you want to and not work when you don't want to, and get out of the house and enjoy life and experience it? Now, speaking of being inspired and energized, you might like this video where I talk about how I stay productive and energized and happy. I have a whole bunch more tips around that in that video, so check that one out next. Give me a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe. Let me know your tips for working from home. What have you found is really important so that you can be effective and efficient and enjoy the rest of your life as well? I'm Jess Van Den. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back again with another video soon. Bye for now.